I beat the entirety of Fire Emblem Engage, including the story, picking a waifu, recruiting characters, all 12 emblem rings, and lots of cringe dialogue.
I wanted to have a turn to poke at you. That tickles.
Here's what happened. First off, I named myself Colgate, for obvious reasons. I select classic mode and the game begins. Hold up, Martha's already here? Roy? Ike? Lucina? They really went all in on the fan service.
Let's go. One last battle and the war will be over.
Why didn't you say my name, Marth? Is something wrong with my name? Then I wake up, confused about where I'm at. A boy and girl seem just as shocked as I am that I'm awake.
You're the Divine Dragon.
You guys have a problem with saying my name too?
The Divine Dragon is finally awake!
Okay, so we're playing one of those kind of voice-acted games. Turns out, I've been asleep for 1,000 years and I am the Divine Dragon who has lost his memory. 10 out of 10 for original story. These three have been caring for my well-being at an airborne place called the Somnial. Of course, now that I'm awake, the first sighting of evil appears, knocking away Clan's tome. Fram doesn't look to be much of a fighter herself, so my new friend Vander and I jump into battle to save them. More enemies enter the battlefield, but that's okay because I just so happen to recall how to summon the emblem from the ring I'm wearing. Marth. Emblem Marth, to be clear. That's cool and all, but I really gotta give props to this one bad guy. Look how well he's doing in this 2 versus 1 fight. Once defeating that one, a dragon comes out of nowhere, charges up a blast, and annihilates the rest of the baddies. The dragon reverts to its human state and calls me her child. She says I suffered a wound in a war 1,000 years ago, which is why I had to sleep for so long. After each battle, you can explore the field where you fought. Can't forget
these nuts.
Lumera flies over to her castle, where she explains that there are actually 12 emblem rings. If someone were to get a hold of all 12 of them, it would grant world-altering power. That's how they locked away the great evil fell dragon. That's cool and all, lady, but even with an emblem ring, I can't pet the cat. You can't pet the cats in this game. Anyways, an invasion occurs near the vault where the rings are stored. At last, after that exposition-filled intro,
now we can finally play the game.
I did skip showing a couple tutorials because I wanted to get to the good stuff as fast as I can. I engaged with Emblem Marth right away, who ups your chances of avoiding enemy attacks when you initiate combat with them. When you engage with an emblem, it lasts 3 turns, then you have to wait until it charges up to use it again. Vander is already an advanced class paladin, while the rest of the team are still base classes, meaning he's pretty OP in the early game. Clan is a mage who can cast fire from a distance to keep himself safe, and Bram is a martial monk who usually likes to stay back to heal us when needed, but can punch back if necessary. Reinforcements arrive to help us, being Alfred, the crown prince of the neighboring country Firene. He's a cavalry unit specializing in spears. He also brought his retainers, one of them being Etier, the archer, which is super effective against flying enemies. The other is his axe-wielding pal, Boucheron.
I did it!
Okay, if you're going to sound like that, might as well go full white with a
hooray!
As we pressed upward on the map, we got to their commander and took them out, winning the battle. Colgate finds this hooded figure who was leading the invasion. Unfortunately, her magic overwhelms us, and we are then saved by yet again Mommy Lumera. This time, she suffers a severe blow, causing her to change from dragon form to her human form. Lumera fires off one more blast at the invader, scaring them enough to flee, and they drop something in the process. The queen is not recovering because she had been transferring over her divine dragon powers to Colgate while he was sleeping, so that way he would wake up again someday. She gives us her emblem ring as she dies. Good, good. 10 more to rule them all.
Let's make a promise, mother and child.
We'll make it a pinky promise.
Pinky promise? Maybe it's good you're gone if I'm still being treated like a 3-year-old when I'm at least over 1,000. Get over it, Colgate. Time to grow up. By the way, the promise was we'll meet again in the next life if you care to know. Anyways, Alfred tells us he actually came here to ask Lumera for help because his land Firene has been invaded by the corrupted, similar to the ones we fought at the beginning of the game. Vander and I discuss plans to move forward. We make the Somnial our base, and he also found the crystal dropped by the evil mage. We rest up for now before moving on. I find it easier to relax in everyday attire. Nothing looks comfortable about that 5-piece tuxedo, dude. I found some horse manure and thought to myself, this would make a great gift for Fram. On our way to Firenze, we listen to a brief rundown of each of the countries from Alfred. Firenze is led by his mom, who prioritizes peace above all else. They have an alliance with Solm and Brodia, although the king in Brodia likes to launch attacks on Elucia. Alfred explains they don't associate with him much, but Elucia does worship the Fell Dragon, to which Colgate is shocked, of course. Just as we get to the first town, we find the corrupted are about to overrun the place. Alfred's sister, Princess Céline, happens to be there too, along with her retainers. She informs her brother that the Elucian army is marching towards their castle. Their mother sent them here to share the news with Alfred and gave her an emblem ring to bring too. Through his divine dragon powers, he summoned Celica from the ring. This couldn't have come at a better time because Céline needed a better battle dress. Summoning Celica gives her a new drip and a signature move called Warp Ragnarok, allowing her to teleport a distance to catch the corrupted off guard with a surprise magic attack. Now that's a battle-friendly dress. At the beginning of the next turn, the crystal Vander found earlier starts to glow. Marth tells us that it's a draconic time crystal, an item that enables us to rewind actions in battle in case any retries are needed. Not needed for this chapter though, since Céline's retainers can handle themselves. Chloe, being a flying unit, resists magic, and Louis's armor taking little from physical attacks. After winning the skirmish, a corrupted attempts to kill Colgate. Then an unknown figure saves us with some fire magic. A barefoot Fire Emblem waifu?
There's no need to be afraid. It's gone.
Oh, never mind. She sounds like she's 13. However, that doesn't stop Colgate from making a move.
I'm the Divine Dragon.
What a lovely name.
Girl, I never said my name. It's taboo. Well, her name is Vale, and she pulls a Batman, disappearing when Colgate turns his head for just a moment. Who needs her since we can now adopt animals, a dog and a sheep? But I can't adopt this chicken until I donate to Firenze? Lame. For now, we take the two back with us to the Somnial. There's also a few new features added to our base. The first being strength training. You can do push-ups to temporarily give Colgate a boost in strength, sit-ups for HP, and squats for dexterity. The ring chamber is now open too, where you can grow closer with the emblems by polishing their dirty rings.
This ring is filthy, don't you think?
Shops are added, but I've been lollygagging for too long because while I was doing that stuff, the Firenze castle has been taken over. The invaders were led by Zephyia, this lady who honestly needs to put more clothes on. She's after their emblem ring, which she suspects the queen gave to her daughter. She threatens to kill everyone in the castle if the queen doesn't tell her where it is. Da 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 da! We're here to save the day. Zephyia drops one more truth bomb on us, that being that the fell dragon Sombron has awoken. Then we go into battle. Instead of facing the enemy head on, I go up the left side to break down the wall, allowing us to flank them. Speaking of walls, Vander and Louis are my walls. I would often place them in front of the pack to be steadfast tanks when confronted by enemies. And just as I say that, I left Vander out in front with not enough health points remaining, resulting in his death.
Ah, it's rewind time.
Thank you, Time Crystal. I just had Vander wait this time, leaving him nearly at full HP. As for this level's boss, this guy is the first to have a revival stone, meaning they recover back to full health when they're first beaten. Luckily, he didn't use his follow-up turn very wisely, so I used Marth's signature emblem move, Lodestar Rush, to strike 7 times, taking them out once again. The queen is saved, and in return, she reveals that Firenze has another emblem ring near the border of the country north of them, Brodia. To prepare, I survey the castle for items that could be used for... Who's leaving potatoes around here? Then I head back to the base to bond with the emblems, build some camaraderie with the team through support conversations, donate to Firenze so they'll let me adopt a darn chicken, and can now use the arena 3 times in between chapters. So I send in Clan every time since he's behind on levels. Once I was ready to set forth toward Brodia, my first paralogue became available, another term for side quests in Fire Emblem. I won't go over these in much detail unless there are standout moments to highlight. The main point of the paralogues I like to do are to recruit additional units to my army. In this case, Colgate chats with Jean, son of the doctor in the village, so naturally he's a healer. More importantly though, I can finally adopt a blasted chicken. Now I can feast. The team and I take another break back at the Somnial. I find a creature at the shrine in the grotto that used to be a pet for Queen Lumera. I rename them Crest, dress them to fit that name, and get back to training in the arena. Jean gets the living snot beat out of him, while Alfred is maybe getting too comfortable with his allies.
Your triceps are especially well developed. Mind if I feel them?
Dude, just take us to where the ring is already. No one's around except for... Is that my favorite Fire Emblem character? Anna? That's not her. It's...
You can call me Yunaka. Hiya, papaya.
Yeah, definitely not my kind of girl. Well, she joins the gang anyways because she had found the emblem ring earlier and now has lost it. This thief has found the ring, so I quickly go after him, strike him down, and take the ring. Colgate summons Emblem Micaiah, then entrusts it with Yunaka. Having Micaiah with the unit allows them to use staves regardless of their class. When engaged, you also get access to the Shine Tome, but who needs that when you have dagger skills like Yunaka? This level's map is mostly covered with darkness, which meant I had to prioritize lighting these torches to attain better movement for the party. Once we got to the leader of the bandits, aka Big Forehead, he states there was a village here and they had already killed everyone that resided in it. Yeah, not cool. Die now. After that, Yunaka confesses she didn't find the ring, but rather stole it because she was strapped for cash. But this is an RPG, a video game genre that forgives thieves right away, then completely trusts them as an ally for the rest of their journey. Sounds like a good plan. Colgate runs into that Veil girl again. She says she's been looking for her sibling. Colgate doesn't care though. He tends to a wound on her leg, hoping to gain some points with her. However, Veil puts Colgate in the friend zone, then runs off. Before heading to Brodia, I beat the snot out of Jean again, then take a rest in my quarters. Supposedly people like to watch me sleep, like how I caught Celine doing so right now. Up and at him, I'm ready for a paralogue. Anna! I'm about to recruit my favorite character! She hides from the bandits in a chest. I break her out of it, and...
What's the little girl doing here?
They made Anna a little girl in this game? I'm gonna need a new waifu for this one. Like Jean, she's underleveled. Unlike Jean, she actually wins her fights. Anyways, on to Brodia, where I'm almost sniped by an arrow. Alchris, a Brodian prince, threatens to not miss this time unless we identify ourselves. We tell him who we are, then this happens.
I
am so sorry!
From intimidating claims to an apologetic whiny voice, he asks for forgiveness. A lot. I actually like this guy. He's my favorite archer to use throughout the game, but that's aside from what's going on right now. Their bridge has been swarmed by Lucia's princess Hortensia. She's the annoying kind of princess.
That would be me, the second princess of Illusia, Hortensia!
She's not the brightest either, accidentally spilling that she's here to collect our rings while her sister attacks Brodia Castle. As the Battle of the Bridge begins, both of Alchris' female retainers share battle plans with each other, as do Hortensia's female retainers.
Absolutely not as cute as we are.
Holy fish paste! It's a guy!
Looks like Hortensia somehow has an emblem ring herself containing Lucina. She explains that summoning them isn't exclusive to the Divine Dragon since Lord Sombron can power them up as well with a more evil red aesthetic. Lucina's signature move is All for One, an all-out attack that calls in help from nearby allies. Strong blows are stricken, but that's why I had Vander leading the charge. Alchris' bow and arrow is perfect for a situation like this, sniping that horse flyer out of the sky. Then they retreat with the ring. After they leave, Vander deduces that Lucia possesses 5 of the rings. That's nice to know, Vander, but can you tell people like your steward assistant to stop watching me in my sleep? Not much else at the Somniel that trip. We're already at Brodia Castle. Alchris' brother Diamant meets us at the front. King Morian welcomes us as well. They provide us with another ring, Roy! No time to celebrate because the Lucian Princess Ivy flies within Brodia's castle walls with her army. For the mission, we have 2 objectives: protect the gate and wipe out Princess Ivy. As the Lucian soldiers broke down our barriers, I had Alchris use the ballista to further his range as an archer. Unfortunately, I didn't have Diamant engage with Roy because his special weapon, the Lance Reaver, reverses the weapon triangle. Usually swords are effective against axes and weak against spears, but Roy's sword is favorable versus spears and suffers against axes, which Ivy was holding, thus he brawled in his normal estate. Yunaka and Diamant double-teamed the last attack, even swiping away her ring in the process. Leaf is summoned properly from the ring under the Divine Dragon. Ivy got away, and a Brodian soldier gives us a message that the tension between countries isn't over yet. An Lucian battalion with their king are at the country's border. They demand to see King Morian. He's ready to face them, but Diamant doesn't feel ready to become king if his father dies. Alchris proclaims he will protect both his father and brother, to which Morian exclaims,
Haha, that's my boy! Diamant, you could learn a thing or two from your brother. Fear has no place in my kingdom.
Fear does not exist in this dojo!
How do I prepare for such a vicious battle that lies ahead? Why, fishing, of course. Because what's an RPG without a fishing minigame? Moving on, Bram wakes me up from my nap.
But you better wake up soon, or it's tickle time.
I'm up! I'm up! I'm up! Please don't touch me! Probably sick of waiting for us, King Morian starts the battle without us. He wanted to take on the Wizard King by himself too without Roy because that would be a fair fight. The fight looked to be favorable for Morian at first, but did he really think they'd have the same pride of fighting fair like him? Idiot. They take him away alive because the Fell Dragon wants sovereign blood. Diamant and Colgate go to retrieve him, but Ivy stands in their way and is commanded by her father to get back the ring she lost. I gave Allchris the ring for Emblem Leaf. And Diamant got to flex Roy's signature move, Blazing Line, for the first time. Amidst the battlefield was a royal knight named Jade, who of course I recruited. I took a risky play of only having 4 party members from the south end confront Princess Ivy. Thankfully, I spread them out just enough where a single one of them couldn't be bombarded by all of Ivy's troops at once. Etier, you know what to do. Colgate spares Ivy's life because she is no longer a threat. Her father, King Hyacinth, left her for dead and no longer wants her. In exchange, she offers information about her father's plan, a blood ritual at a cathedral with King Morian's sovereign blood. This will temporarily restore Sombron's powers until he has gathered all 12 rings for himself. She then leaves. As we trek through the blizzard, Diamant spots Vale, somehow not suffering from frostbite. She gives us directions to the cathedral we're looking for. But first, time to use my first master seal. Colgate has evolved into a divine dragon. Wait a minute, I thought you were already a divine dragon. Celine and Alfred have been kicking butt as well, so I evolved them into a Vidam and Avenir respectively. And bada bing bada boom, Vale's directions were correct. Inside, Hyacinth and Hortensia awaited our arrival. Then he just casually tells his daughter that Ivy is dead. Father of the Year! King Morian has also become one of the corrupted. Allchris and Diamant are pissed off, rightfully so. Thus we fight. The brothers realize their father is already gone and they must put him out of his misery. As we raid the cathedral hall, Hortensia, with a different emblem, Byleth by her side, attacks the main character and kills him. Well, let's start that over from the beginning. Upon one of my many retry attempts, Hortensia took control of the magic artillery similar to the ballista I had Allchris use from a previous chapter. I knew she was a magic user, but her use of lances would occasionally catch my hero off guard. I did my best to block off enemies from swarming us by using Obstruct with Jean's stave. I had everyone grouped to the left, slowly baiting the foes one by one, while Alfred lured the princess to the right, distracting her. Diamant tanking Hortensia's hit was the pivotal moment to turn things around soon after with a counterattack, and Celine finished her off with wind magic that specializes in taking down her kind. Finally. Now it was time to kill both of the kings. I make Diamant slay his own father, cause why not? Then Hyacinth shows off Emblem Lynn's signature move, Astra Storm. It has a range of like 20 spaces. Crazy! Good thing it can only be used once, and good thing Etier is a tough girl. Hyacinth can also use Lynn to make copies of himself. I took them all out right away, not wanting to find out what they can do. Ugh, he did it again? Celine uses the Echo ability from Celica to split her damage into 2 attacks, and Roy's fire from Blazing Line helped in a similar fashion. Then a smash from Vander launches the king back a space, allowing more of my units to sneak in attacks. To continue the pressure, Yunaka healed everyone back to full health with Micaiah's power. Great sacrifice. In return, hers was reduced to 1 HP, but she was well out of the fray. Ding dong, the king is dead. That second half was easier than the first, and we all thought Diamant was gonna land the avenging blow, but the hooded girl saved him right when Diamant was about to strike. That's the least of our problems now, because the Fell Dragon Sombron is now here with his power restored, but he's still hungry. Hyacinth offers us as his next meal. However, only sovereign blood will quell his hunger. You really thought an evil dragon demon who wanted a king to feast on wouldn't eventually want to eat you too? No. Idiot. Hortensia gets mad at the mysterious girl for laughing about her father's death, then unhoods her face. Vale?
Vale. What do you mean, the Fell Princess? How could you deceive us like this?
Deceive you? We've never even spoken before.
Different voice and doesn't recall who we are. Something's up here. The bad guy reveals don't stop there though. We're then introduced to the 4 hounds. Zephia, Gris, Marnie, and Mavier. They're kind of like the Apocalypse's 4 horsemen from the Bible, or from X-Men. During that chat, Vale stole the Draconic Time Crystal and all the emblem rings we had.
You must not be very bright.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you there. Sombron changes all the emblems into redheads, which of course makes them evil. Sorry, redhead viewers, I didn't make this game. Vale equips her corrupted soldiers with the rings. We have no choice but to run. We thought we could get the rings back by killing those who held them, but Vale made sure to not let that happen. I thought we were doing a good job escaping. Colgate, on the other hand, whined the whole way. Then Princess Ivy and her retainers arrived at the scene. They brought 2 of Elucia's rings and stole Vale's time crystal. Ivy believes that joining us is the only way to save Elucia from what her father has done. Colgate summons Lynn and Lucina. The latter has a cool guard ability called Bonded Shield, which has a high chance of protecting adjacent allies from attacks. Ivy gets to use that insane ranged attack her father used against us in the last battle with Lynn's power. It also made her more modest. Nonetheless, easy level. After getting away, some of the team isn't too pleased with Ivy joining the squad. Diamant says Ivy is not to blame since it was all her father's scheme, not her. You guys settle your differences. I'm taking a nap. Yunaka, you are so annoying! Ivy, on the other hand, provides us with a wyvern riding game, generic shooting minigame. Afterwards, I evolved Alcris, Diamant, and Ivy to further advance classes that they specialize in. Then off to Solm it is, the last country to visit.
As you've no doubt noticed, it's much hotter than in Elucia.
You sure it's the weather making things hot here, Ivy? After wandering in the desert for some time, we crossed paths with the resident of the land, Fogado, captain of the Sentinels. He's got nice teeth. And his land has a zombie problem just like everyone else. Fogado's buddies need help fending them off. One of them doesn't know how to brush the hair out of his face, and the other guy is the only one brave enough to say what we're all thinking about Colgate.
That hair! Like 2 scoops of sorbet swirling together in the desert heat.
This level was pretty standard, just some quicksand that slowed down our movement occasionally. Once all of the corrupted were taken out, the stage was completed. The worst thing about this place was they wouldn't let me adopt this camel. Let me adopt this camel! Anyways, Fogado brings us to Solm's palace, then informs us he's the prince of the land. The group is shocked and surprised. I don't know why, a child could have seen this coming from a mile away. We then meet Queen Sephoria. Colgate asks if we can take their emblem ring, but she gave it to her daughter, who's off camping right now. Tamara is the crown princess who asks her retainers to be her backup singers. Check out this cringe banger.
Meat, meat, meaty meat, meat.
They get interrupted by bandits. We arrive at the ta-da nick of time. She was the only one that knew I was the divine dragon without telling her. She hands over the ring so Colgate can summon Ike. His abilities are perfect for pushing the front lines. He brushes away Tamara's avoidance stat, but she takes 50% less damage because of it. And when her HP goes below 75%, both her physical and magical defenses increase. Then there's Marin, the Wolf Knight. She has the most busted skill in this game. When she has 2 female characters within 2 spaces of her, they all get a raise in their avoidance stats. Just look at this small sample of interactions. Yeah, so the girl trio just hung out in the bushes up there fending off the wyverns. I had Diamant go alone in the southwest part of the map to speak with the villagers, but his life was on the line down there. Thankfully, Fogado's priest retainer was able to warp Saline down there to mend his fatal wounds. Up north continued to look good, so Ivy flew on east with a couple others, faced the bandit leaders herself, and brought the scuffle to a close. MVP was Marin, to no surprise. Turns out the Solm royal family already knows about everything going on with the divine dragon and Fell Dragon thanks to their spies. They just played dumb to make sure we were the real good guys. Now that they know I can summon emblems, which proves I'm the divine dragon, Solm is okay giving us the ring along with their other one hidden away, but then we're interrupted by a messenger saying Princess Hortensia has broken into the Solm palace. I'm super worried about my mom. Let's get to the palace as soon as we can. Not until the usuals are taken care of, Tamara. I get to adopt my first camel, Vander wakes me up, I evolve Tamara, who doesn't look any different, and Anna helps Tamara open a flea market. Now we can go save your mom. Hortensia is holding the queen hostage and will only hand her over if we give her our rings. She was happy at first to hear Ivy was still alive, but now sees her as a traitor. Blinded by delusion, Hortensia further explains she needs the rings to bring their father back. Zephia, along with 2 other hounds, reveal they're here too. She needs to keep the princess and queen alive to give all the sovereign blood to Sombron. She casts a spell on Hortensia, brainwashing her to fight us. It gets worse. She has 2 revival stones, and there's a total of 4 bosses to beat, with 2 of them being airborne units. I evolved Fogado to sharpen my archery needs. I split the party into 2 groups going in different directions, with the right side making it to the main hall first. I probably should have waited for the others before entering, but I was confident Lucina's bonded shield would protect us from the Hound's first attacks. And it did indeed come in clutch. Alchris snipes down Zephyr, Kagetsu withers down Mavier's HP, so Alchris could also finish him off, and Princess Aileen is the first of the left group to catch up. Her magic obviously has the upper hand against the well-armored Marnie. Alright everyone, let's take all 3 of Hortensia's lives in one turn. By the way, I love using Kagetsu. His speed combined with his mastery of the sword gets so many hits. Prince Fogado, send us home. Hortensia comes back to her senses, joins the team, hands us her ring, Colgate summons Byleth, and we set off to get Solm's remaining ring. In the meantime, we get a cutscene of Vale struggling, saying she must sleep. She closes her eyes.
Sand? What happened to all the snow?
I don't like sand.
At the fortress where the next ring is, a dancer attempts to have a rehearsal there. He's interrupted right away by some corrupted.
Hurry! You must get to safety now!
Who said that?
By the sounds of it, that's an emblem ring. The mission is simple: help the dancer escape.
Wow, you're one hot dancer.
Colgate makes his way to the dancer named Seedall. He tells us of the talking ring, hands it to Colgate, then Corrin is summoned. The map was deceivingly small, so of course the game had to make things harder and make us go around. There's also miasma, a vapor that weakens allies' defenses but increases the foes. With Corrin's dragon vein power, Seedall places ice pillars over it. Then we can either wait a turn for them to melt, or destroy them ourselves, giving us a safe passageway. When Seedall dances for an ally, it gives them an opportunity to move again that same turn. Near the exit, Seedall uses Corrin's signature move, Torrential Roar, a strong attack that traps the target in water terrain, and with that, we escape from the fortress. Meeting us at the exit is Vale. She asks us how we've been, like nothing has happened since the last time we saw her. She's scolded by all of us, and sensing she's in danger, runs off. We don't chase her since it's probably a trap. I think Colgate's just pissed because he really wanted to date that girl. Chris meets up with Vale and realizes her good half is in control. Vale told him that Colgate said she killed people and stole rings. Chris tricks her, saying she never did those awful things, and convinces her to go to Firene with him. Meanwhile, Tamara continues having great support conversations.
That's true! I'm really something! I'm the crown princess of Solm! And I'm wearing lots of priceless jewels! Tasty, tasty meat, so nice and chewy!
While Tamara is doing that, the party realizes all of the rings have been collected. 5 with us, 7 with the Felled Dragon. Vander reports that Lucian vessels are setting sail from the Solm port to invade Firene. Mavier and Marnie are leading the fleets, and are then told that Hortensia's retainer stole an emblem ring from them. We run into them at the Solm port, and Rosado is still pretty sus of us.
Psst. If you're being held against your will, blink 3 times.
Hortensia assures them that the Divine Dragon's mission is the right path, so Rosado settles down and hands over the ring they brought. Colgate summons Erica from it and hands it back to Rosado. Hortensia upgrades as well, and now we need to fend off the 2 hounds. Similar to the quicksand level, the rising tides of water can slow us down, but what we need to be careful of are the thick, tough dragon worms. That's where Emblem Erica comes in. Her signature move, Twin Strike, excels against opponents with high defenses. That was some impressive damage, Rosado. You're for sure gonna be a team staple. I took on Marnie with primarily the Elusian sister since they could just fly over the water, and their tomes were very effective against them. The wolf pack dealt with Mavier, and Tamara got to flex Ike's signature move where she didn't attack until the beginning of the next turn with Great Ether, healing in the process. A few back and forths with a lot led to our victory. Cut out to the sea where Zephyr and Gris continue lying to Vale, but one thing she sticks to is that she has a sibling, and as long as this dragon stone remains intact and not broken, her relative is still alive. I think I see where this is going now. Back at our base, Ivy polishes Lynn's ring.
That area needs work.
What are you talking about, Lynn? The clean meter's maxed out. I check out Seedall's fortune telling, which I got quite bored of quickly and didn't even care to further delve into it. So I headed to Firenze to intercept the Elusian ships, but the port town Flora had already been pillaged. Colgate runs into Vale again and blames her for the attack. Vale, thinking she's innocent, demands the hounds to tell her who ordered the attack. Nonchalantly, Zephyr reveals it was Vale herself. She continues explaining to her that she was a defect offspring of Sombron, who wouldn't obey. So Sombron ordered Zephyr to strengthen her draconic impulses, in other words, creating her evil half that would switch every time one of their consciences would fall asleep. And because we have a game to play, she falls asleep at this very moment, awakening evil Vale. It's battle time, and with her, she brought a corrupted version of King Hyacinth she created herself. Then Gris begs Colgate to hit him because he wants to feel the pain. He's probably from the Addams family. Anyways, he almost took out our hero, but I did so to bait him out since he was the only commander alone. Then I had Hortensia engage with Byleth to use the Goddess Dance, enabling every adjacent ally to act again even though they already moved this turn. That's lights out for the Pain Lover.
Exquisite.
I took out the duo we've already battled with similar methods I've used before, and Kagetsu scored a critical hit versus a dragon worm. Usually I like Rosado slaying those kind of beasts, but since he was low on health, I thought why not try out something different with his emblem. You can switch from Erica to her twin brother Ephraim, who lifesteals with Twin Strike rather than having the advantage against highly defensive enemies. The Wolfpack girls bombard Zephyr, and I had the daughters kill their own father. Vale was the last one remaining. I had Tamara and Ike take the first blow to draw her in. Then the gang went ham, surrounded her, and brought this fight to a close. They're all still alive somehow, but at least we were able to snatch the corrupted Hyacinth's ring. Not only that, Good Vale takes control of her body, grabs Zephyr's ring, and chucks it over to Colgate. We reunite with Leaf and Sigurd, but Hortensia is more concerned about other matters.
Am I cute? Sweet? Charming? Use your words!
Sure, you're cute enough.
Hey Andrew, do I look cute?
You're cute enough, I guess.
Oh! I will defeat you in cuteness. And while I'm at it, everything else.
While Hortensia readies the cuteness contest, Sombron orders Zephyr to place this helmet upon Vale to gain full control of her. She then asks Sombron if he was sure he killed all his children save for Vale. Zephyr never collected the body, and now Sombron believes he has another child roaming this world and demands Zephyr fix that. During our sail to Elusia, 2 ships attacked us. As I decide who to send in, I bench Alfred because of, well, his frailness with a lack of strength to make up for it. I turn over Sigurd's ring to Kagetsu, who will make good use of it, especially the +5 movement bonus. I put Yunaka in charge of the cannons, recruit this old guy who's having trouble following the Fell Dragon and wishes to serve the Elusian family. I gotta say, the old man has some moves. Once the battle's wrapped up, the emblems discuss maybe using a miracle power on Lumera that they can use once all 12 of them are back together. They've never used it, so they decide to wait until the others reunite with them for further discourse. The hounds report to Sombron the loss of their rings, to which Gris is ecstatic about receiving punishment. Instead, Sombron sends Marnie and Mavier out together again. How many times do I have to beat this duo to a pulp? As for us, we arrive at Elusia's port, and are met by the corrupted, of course. There aren't any survivors, which is kind of weird because this is the Fell Dragon's own country. Marnie and Mavier show up with 2 rings that Marnie borrowed without permission. There's a ton of that miasma everywhere, just like the level where we recruited the dancer. In addition to Corrin, the cannon can get rid of the mist too. There's also another friend to recruit across the way. So instead of going around, I have Hortensia warp Colgate right to her. Her name is Saphir, who was a knight of King Morian and will now serve Diamant. Next, save the villagers.
Looks like I made a mistake.
The miasma had a much more noticeable presence in this stage. As you can see here, the foe is camping in it a lot more. The safest way to lure out the hounds was with Ivy's copies. It worked like a charm, and Marnie was still weak sauce. Then there were some major close calls with Diamant almost dying. Lyndon the Elderly really almost dying, but just look at him fight back. During the last turn, I dogpiled on Mavier the right way, taking out his revival stones, then using Goddess Dance around those who were already giving him a beatdown to let him have it again. Yet they're still alive!
How are you not dead? I have no idea!
Roy and Micaiah are with us again. Roy informs us that with no available sovereign blood to consume, the fell dragon is feasting upon his own people. That's why the corrupted are everywhere here. Meanwhile, Zephyr punishes Marnie and Mavier for losing the rings, knocking them out cold with flames. We reach Elucia Castle as well and are welcomed by Gris. He says if we can beat him, he'll give Celica back to us, and promises that no backup will come. Turn 1, Gris vanishes with Celica's powers. I instruct my units to press forward, then Gris pops out of the shadows, using Warp Ragnarok, inflicting a hefty amount of damage to Alchrist. Again, he vanishes. Kagetsu clears out the enemies on the right when all of a sudden,
He moves! Right there! Hey, everyone! Get in here!
With his first revival stone cracked, he retreats back to his normal position. We chase him down, but he strikes first on our second bout with him. Using Celica's Echo ability, he fires magic at Kagetsu 2 separate times, hitting the first one, but Kagetsu manages to dodge the second. Everyone gangs up on Gris. Hortensia uses Goddess Dance, yada yada yada, we win. As a promised prize, Celica is given back. Gris laughs maniacally. Zephyr set this whole thing up just so Gris could see how Colgate summons an emblem. Divine dragons do it by praying, but fell dragons use invocations. Thus, Colgate is the fell dragon's child. Colgate is devastated since this invalidates his crush on Vale. Don't worry, man. There's always Sweet Home Alabama. Sigurd confirms from 1,000 years ago that Colgate is indeed the offspring of Sombron, yet still claims Colgate has divine dragon powers because when a fell dragon summons emblems, they cannot speak. But when someone with divine powers like Colgate summons them, they are able to communicate and have blue hair. Through Lumera's love, he inherited this power. Sombron and Vale aren't in the castle, but Mavier is. Not here for conflict, he worries for Vale's well-being and hopes that Colgate can save her now knowing they are siblings. She and Sombron are heading to Lithos Castle, which is where our story began. Mavier explains to us his change of heart is due to Zephyr's unjust punishment and his desire to protect Vale. He also mentions Sombron's grand plan is to restore Gradlon, the fell dragon's land, which is beneath the sea. To revive it, Sombron needs to destroy the Dragon Shard in Lithos. If successful, Sombron then plans to invade other worlds. When Sombron was imprisoned 1,000 years ago, Vale had to go into hiding, knowing that if anyone found her, they would try to kill her. Her mother was already dead too, which meant she was alone for those 1,000 years. Mavier's connection with Vale comes from when she asked him to be her knight. He has been loyal to her since. Marnie then shares her sob story about how her mother abandoned her, and how the fell dragon worshippers actually showed her praise, which was the recognition she was craving. She reminds us that once we're off this boat, that we'll again be enemies. Upon arriving, we already see signs of Gradlon's return. In the castle, we get a new look at Vale with her enchanted helmet. Zephyr claims the good side of her is dead. But come on, does anyone actually believe that? Marnie has a change of heart and attempts to free Vale from the helmet's control. Zephyr punishes her one last time.
Such a bad girl.
Mavier joins our side. Let's get down to business. I equipped 3 of my soldiers with fracture staves for this round. This would allow them to break the enemy from a distance. When in a broken state, they cannot attack back. Zephyr had a second life thanks to her revival stone, but my archers made quick work of that. When Rosada had already used up Erica's twin strike, Ivy would fracture the worm, so Marin could stab the beast without being harmed. Oh yeah, and I yoinked Micaiah from Yunaka for Marin to use. She was just better than her in every way. Diamant was soloing the bottom area of Lithos Castle Hall, but I wasn't sure how much longer he could hold that line. Thankfully, the rest of us pushed up near Vale with a barrage of attacks. She was bested. The good side of Vale breaks free from the spell. Zephyr notices that Marnie did indeed crack the headwear. Sombron sees this as well and scolds his disobedient child. Being of no value to him now, he charges up a dragon blast to kill her. Colgate jumps in front of her, taking in the attack, saving Vale's life. The Dragonstone shatters, confirming both that Colgate is dead and that they are indeed siblings. With the 12 rings, Sombron flies up to the sky, opening up a portal, raising Gradlon from the ocean depths. Zephyr points out that the helmet is only cracked, meaning she still has some control over Vale. We're then presented a flashback where Colgate slayed the fell dragon and was in turn killed as well. Lumera saves his life and promises him a birthday gift after he awakes. Back to the present, the dragon siblings are in some sort of afterlife. This isn't Vale's first time being here, as she hints this is where she resides when her evil counterpart would take over. She doesn't want to go back. She's tired of dying and failing over and over again.
Why don't we fall asleep together?
Colgate isn't ready to give up though, but Vale sees herself as useless since all she has done is create the corrupted. This gives Colgate an idea that encourages Vale to try once more. Vale has a verbal battle with herself, trying to take back control. She successfully rips the helmet off, regaining complete management of her body. She then revives Colgate as one of the corrupted. Oh, and if that wasn't enough plot armor for ya, Sombron conveniently left the rings because he assumed their powers had been drained. Colgate can only summon them in fell dragon form, and after gathering all 12 of them, Colgate's resurrected time comes to an end. The emblems combine their power to execute the miracle they hinted at a few chapters ago. Plus, Lumera's birthday present is finally bestowed upon him, making him the 13th emblem, the Fire Emblem, and dyes his hair blue. The group views the devastating land of Gradlon and the portal in the sky. There's also an unseen barrier around it. But before we find out how to get in, a brief paralogue where another ring resides. Some baddies try to take it for themselves, and all I do is stand in the middle and beat them as they come. After that encounter, we talk amongst ourselves and figure this isn't an emblem ring. Marth surmises it is a pact ring, which holds the power of Lumera, and it should be given to someone I trust. In other words, who do I want to marry? Who do I pick? Ivy? Maybe Tamara?
Hey, you, spooky ghost. How's it going?
Please just forget what you saw here. I've had enough sleeping outdoors.
No.
Come on, spit it out.
No, no, no. Just no. Honestly, Princess Saline has just been so impressive since the beginning. I took her out for a cooked meal with my sister as the third wheel, give her many gifts, and even after all that, I'm stuck at B rank support. Maybe next time, because you know, the world is in peril. Vale senses 3 fell dragon shards that must be destroyed to eliminate Gradlon's barrier. The first one resides in this lava land. Zephyr and Gris are shocked to see Colgate is back alive. We engage in battle and discover that they can use the shard for themselves to lob volcanic bombs at us. On top of that, the corrupted use freeze staves to, well, freeze us, which traps people like Saline in the targeted area. Fortunately for her, Saline can get out of that sticky situation with Warp Ragnarok. Now I can watch Zephyr squash her own troops.
He's still alive!
Gah, I forgot damage from the overworld can't put them below 1 HP. It's okay, I think Celica can handle the survivors. 2 should be the max amount she faces. Oh crap, a third one? Hang in there, girl. All right, stop it. Just stop it. That's my future bride. Vale confronts Gris, who asks her to deliver Evil Vale's promise, which was all the agony his heart could want. I could do that for you.
Allow me.
Exquisite.
As for Zephyr, I expected our feud with her to last longer, but Hortensia pulled out this unexpected one-shot. And you know who else was feeling lucky? Rosado. Critical hit with a hurricane axe. 1 shard down, 2 to go. During Zephyr's last words, she tells us how the second shard is underwater and that we'll need this crystal to reach it. When used, it will only last a few hours. Confused by the kindness, we still take the magical object, then leave them to die. Gris asks why she did it, to which Zephyr responds that Sombron left them for dead. She wanted him to give her a child of her own. He wouldn't sleep with you, and now you want him dead? Yep, Zephyr's got issues. Anyways, they finally die. They're actually dead. Before going to the second shard, Seedall struggles with his fortune telling.
Please, spirit of the cards.
That's because it's the heart of the cards. I brought him along to dinner with my girlfriend, which brought my support level with Saline to A rank. I proposed to her. You could never disappoint me. I'll always be there to support you, whatever you decide.
Divine One, your unwavering support has lifted a great weight from me. You are a true friend.
What? I got freaking friend zoned? You rotten, no good, spoiled silver spoon princess with disgust only the Grinch. Oh, sorry, Vale. Let Zephyr's item do its thing.
Brother!
Vale!
What just happened? Another me? Colgate comes to the conclusion that Zephia's crystal didn't take away the water from Gradlon. It sent us back in time 1,000 years. Past Colgate says if he lets us go with the emblem rings, his father would kill him, just like he did to the rest of his siblings. A deal is made. If Past Colgate wins in battle, we hand over the rings. If we are victorious, we get to break the shard. Unlike the last stage, we're in the cold mountains where Past Colgate can use the dragon shard to send forth avalanches. I have to strategically place my units in front of boulders so they don't get swept back all the way to their starting points. Celine pulls off an impressive feat, taking down one of the giant worms. Then it's the first one on the whole team to reach level 20, the highest one can level up. Wow, you must feel so special. You probably think you're better than everyone else. You must be so proud of yourself.
To haul you out of your cushy lair and expose you to the light of justice as the monster that you are. A monster so vile.
The real monster was the past version of Colgate. I had to go back and retry this turn over and over again because he kept dodging my every attack. This kept happening since he was standing right in the fog, and I couldn't just let him leave his post because he had his own emblem Marth that would kill any unit with Lodestar Rush. So after thinking about it for some time, I decided to sacrifice Saphir. You lived that? Wait a minute. If she can tank that, Diamant should be able to as well. All right, gang. He's out of the fog and only has an attack range of 1. You know what to do.
Everyone, get in here!
And there remained 1 shard. Don't worry about Past Colgate. Past Lumera finds him injured and takes him in. Speaking of Lumera, the last shard dwells within Gradlon Temple, which is guarded by, you guessed it, Lumera, a corrupted Lumera. With a warm welcome, she invites us in for nothing more than a chat. Obviously, it's a trap, and Colgate is struggling to come to terms that he'll have to fight her. Well, you better suck it up, bub, and move out of the way, otherwise she's gonna fire a beam at you with that shard. The corrupted worms also have revival stones now. So yeah, that's bad news. I'd rather let my peeps take a hit from the laser rather than from that thing. 22 damage? That's it? And Lumera doesn't move at all. Darling, you are making this too easy. I just have my mages and archers attack 3 spaces away. Then Avrosado delivered the final blow with Twin Strike, getting that 1-hit KO. Before dying again, the corruption leaves her body, giving the real Lumera one last moment with her adopted son. They renew their pinky promise as she dissipates. With all 3 shards eliminated, the barrier around the portal has dissolved. Marth warns that if we don't act quickly, the power of other worlds will pour through and destroy ours. Ivy reports that our wounded are being treated and will soon be ready. Vale, how'd the last battle treat you?
I thought I was going to die.
To prepare for the final fight, I did everything I haven't done before, like refining and engraving my weapons. To access the final chapter, I go to this point, which ascends the Somniel up to Sombron's portal. Marth shares one more tidbit of information that the portal has destabilized the world, meaning that when the battle is done and the portal closes, the emblems will die. Except for Colgate. Because plot armor. We confront Sombron, who then reveals his grand plan to go back to his original world to find Emblem Zero, the emblem that came with him when he was exiled to his world. He desires to find it again, then use it to take revenge on his home world. The last battlefield looks pretty standard, and that's because it is. No new strategies are needed, just the typical good stuff. But of course, this is not over. He transforms into his dragon form, and now he's starting to feel more like a final boss. Sombron also mentions that he summoned the help of dark emblems from other worlds. Marth confirms that they resemble the foes each hero had to face when they were in their original forms. We must take them down to weaken Sombron's barrier. Some remained faceless and unknown even when stricken with the help of our own emblem. Some were recognized, like Marth when he confronted the Shadow Dragon emblem, or Duma, which is what Celica called the nemesis with the title of War Father. If I had multiple units near the fell dragon on the enemy's turn, Sombron would perform a whirling dragon spin upon each of my allies within range. And if you move everyone out of there and leave 1 or 2 behind, Sombron will blast at a single target with a more powerful Fell Surge. I continue surveying around the map, massacring the dark emblems, until Sombron's shield finally shatters. There is one feature I've not yet shown, and it has to do with Colgate being an emblem himself. When next to an ally, Colgate can engage with them as if he were their ring, yet still acts as a unit on the battlefield. With this newfound power, Colgate can use his signature move, Dragon Blast. There's more. When the engaged ally positions positions themselves next to Colgate. They're able to work together, combining their powers, creating another signature move, that being the Bond Blast. After ganging up against the Fell Dragon like we've done in many previous battles, I think it's only fitting to have the girl who rejected me get the last hit.
All mine!
Over here! It's over. Sombron the Fell Dragon has been slain. During his dying breath, he expresses how much he wanted to reunite with the emblem that raised him. He just wanted someone to appreciate how far he had come. A light appears before him, one that shows him his long-lost friend. We cannot see it, nor do we need to. As he engages with it, then he dies. With the portal closed and the world saved, we say goodbye to our fellow emblems. Sigurd tells us to suck it up and not cry, which, sure dude, kind of a funny request. That marks the end of this story. Like the video to support and subscribe for more Nintendo content. Thank you to my patrons, YouTube members, and Twitch subs. You all have a good one. Thanks.